It is currently the Monday after Crown Jewel Perth, and Monday Night Raw concluded earlier today. And if you have not been living under a rock, then I am sure you are quite aware of the Vision betrayal against Seth Rollins. Specifically, Bron Breakker spearing Seth Rollins and then sort of coercing Bronson Reed and Paul Heyman to join forces with him and betray Seth Rollins in the process. Now, obviously, this is a turn that a lot of us sort of were thinking was going to happen, a year and a half, 2 years down the line, because this Vision was supposed to be this, they were the future. I mean, they were called the Vision for a reason. A lot of people were expecting this faction to go into War Games, and then there'd be the group of baby faces versus the Vision. Point is, there was a lot of potential for feuds and storylines to be told with the Vision faction that just now are not possible, and it seems very premature to dispose of this faction so quickly, especially considering how much effort was put in by WWE Creative and the WWE writers into developing the Vision into this super dominant faction and building up Seth Rollins and building up Bronson Reed and building up Bron Breakker. Especially having Seth Rollins win at Crown Jewel Perth, it really just makes a lot of people confused as to why they would cut it so short. My personal hot take, I think it was a work. I don't think Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker actually betrayed Seth Rollins. I think it's just a giant work for something bigger in the process. But assuming that it is not a work and this was a real betrayal, what does this mean for WWE Survivor Series War Games 2025? Because pretty much all signs were pointing towards the Vision versus this group of baby faces for that 5-on-5 tag team match. Now, what I'm hoping gets booked is I'm hoping we get that group of baby faces versus the Paul Heyman guys. Now, hear me out, right? Brock Lesnar is back. That's one Paul Heyman guy. Roman Reigns is back. Another Paul Heyman guy. Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed, the two new Paul Heyman guys. And then, who is now the number one contender for the World Heavyweight title that is held by Seth Rollins, who Paul Heyman just betrayed? CM Punk, another Paul Heyman guy. So, let's do the math. Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed, CM Punk, 5. And I think this would be a super amazing angle to work, especially if they develop this betrayal as Paul Heyman being the mastermind behind it, further showcasing how well Paul Heyman can mess with people's minds and control them and get them to do what he wants to do. So the idea that he would be able to bring in all these other guys that he's worked with, all these other guys that he's betrayed at one point or another, and get them to work together, I think would really showcase just how much of a manipulator Paul Heyman is, which he is. And I don't think it's too far-fetched to book it in a way where you have all these old Paul Heyman guys coming together because Paul Heyman is manipulating them day in and day out. And then on the flip side, you can tell the story of Seth Rollins trying to right all his wrongs, going to people like LA Knight, going to people like Jey Uso, and pretty much just seeking any help from anybody to protect him from CM Punk, Paul Heyman, and all these other Paul Heyman guys. And I think it could culminate in this really beautiful moment where, after repeated tries, nobody's willing to stand by Seth Rollins, nobody's willing to give him the light of day, which obviously makes sense, but then one person steps up and chooses to stand by Seth Rollins' side, that person being Cody Rhodes, just showing the idea that Seth Rollins needs Cody Rhodes, and Seth Rollins learning to accept that him and Cody can be friends. Then through the help of Cody Rhodes, you get Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, Jey Uso, LA Knight, and one other dude, maybe John Cena, because Brock Lesnar would be on the Paul Heyman guys. You get that group of now baby faces versus the group of Paul Heyman heels at Survivor Series War Games, 5-on-5. Let's just say Seth Rollins, Jey Uso, Cody Rhodes, LA Knight, John Cena, Roman Reigns, Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed, Brock Lesnar, CM Punk. You cannot tell me that I am not cooking and I should be employed as a WWE writer at this moment. Now, do I know how they'll get there? No, but there is about a month and a half from now until WWE War Games, so they have a good amount of time to set up this feud, tell all the stories properly to make this flow and make sense. But that is how I would book Survivor Series War Games. Let me know what you guys think of my booking decisions in the comments. Let me know what you guys think is going to happen. Do you think this is all a work? Do you think it's real? But point is, I'm very happy with WWE and their booking decisions. They're really coming back after that disaster that was WrestlePalooza. Leave your thoughts about Survivor Series War Games, about this episode of Monday Night Raw and Crown Jewel Perth. Leave them in the comments below. I want to know what y'all think. See you guys on the next one.